You see it with
And that's
everyone
them.
too. Cy Young caliber pitchers like Carlos Rodón, it happens to.
Yeah.
Where the walks derail him and that's it. It starts over.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller are required. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Hello, Brian.
Stacey, what a weird game for the Yankees.
Very weird. Very weird. We'll get into it. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go up. On today's show, we'll preview Game 2 of the series between the Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles. We're also going to look at two specific minor league players because we decided to not delay Minors Monday until next Monday because a couple of minor leaguers are burning things up. And we're going to tell you all about it. But first, let's talk about the game in Baltimore, which the guys looked, I don't know. It was a weird game.
I think easily defined as a hard watch. Right?
Yes.
Not a very moving game. Didn't move very fast at all. Will Warren did not impress whatsoever.
Yeah.
I want to mention something about his pitching because in the first couple innings, when I was dialed in, his breaking ball has a lot of late movement to it. His slider across the zone, I don't know if you want to really call it a sweeper because it kind of it's a big slider. It moves a lot. It has a lot of movement across the zone. The problem is, especially today, he was catching a lot of it all over the middle of the plate and the upper middle part of the plate. And the problem is when a slider has late movement like that, is it beneficial? Absolutely. But when it is up in the zone like that and it lands up in the zone, if a guy makes contact with it, he's going to hit it a long way. And you saw that in this game. I mean, you saw it directly from the Orioles. That's how they got the home run, which really wound up being the game-winning hit. His pitches were not working. Even the double that was hit in the first inning where Grisham admittingly did take a weird route to that ball.
Yeah.
Stacey, I'm sorry, on a 2-strike count, unless you have Garrett Cole's fastball where you can challenge guys straight up, you can't throw 95 in that location. Every major league hitter is going to crush that. And maybe in the 90s, 95 was going to work in the 1990s. But right now, 95 up in the zone, that's the sweet spot for guys nowadays. And he laid it right in there. Weird route for Grisham? Sure. Should you be throwing a pitch up in the zone 95 with 2 strikes? No. So that hit shouldn't have even been possible. I don't know if it's missed location. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence, just trying to get the ball over. I don't know what it is. But so far, Will Warren's start to the year has not been overly impressive.
Right. It is amazing how walks will kill you. Because the walks preceding the home run are what killed him. Because as soon as that happened, I thought, oh, God, if he leaves the ball in the wrong spot, someone's going to crush it.
You see it with everyone too. Cy Young caliber pitchers like Carlos Rodón, it happens to.
Yeah.
Where the walks derail him and that's it. It starts over. It happens to all these guys. The problem is Will Warren doesn't have the career backing or the contract of Carlos Rodón where it's going to guarantee him more starts.
Right.
I don't know how much longer Will Warren has at the level. He might be up here because there's no one to replace him. That might be it.
That's pretty much why he's there. So 3 1/3 innings, the 4 runs, not a great performance, but just like the start in Tampa where he left early, the bullpen came in, specifically Yarbrough, and did exactly what you needed him to do. I mean, 3 2/3 innings, only 2 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts, didn't give up a run. And it's kind of worrisome just because he doesn't throw hard, but his his pitches have movement. So it's not as scary, but it is a little scary because, again, if you miss your spot and you're only throwing 86, 87 miles an hour, you're going to have the ball's going to be hit onto Utah Street.
the good thing about him is location's a big thing with him. He knows how to spot the ball really well, so he kind of knows how to put those low velocity pitches in places where it's kind of hard for a batter to get to. The problem is if he misses his spots, I mean, he's getting barreled up every single time. He's been lucky so far. He's been really good this year so far, actually. Like you said, and these long relief, starts that these guys are giving them are. Who was the pitcher the Yankees had a few years ago? That was this exact same. Well, I don't know why I can't remember his name. They traded him to the Cubs. He was on the Cubs for a while, back and forth. He was part of the Aroldis Chapman trade.
Adam Warren.
Adam Warren. That's exactly what he is. Adam Warren, like a middle relief, solid throwing, doesn't overpower you with velocity, but he'll easily come in and give you 4 innings of 1-run ball whenever you need it to eat up innings. And that's exactly what you need on a roster sometimes. I also want to note too, Devin Williams, really good opportunity to get him in this spot, right? Up a run, down a run, not a lot of pressure on him in this game against the team that doesn't really hit well. A really good spot to try and build his confidence up. I thought this was a really smart move actually to bring Devin Williams in here.
Yeah. 1 inning, no hits, 1 strikeout, seemed a lot better. And as you said, this is the perfect opportunity for him. Another really good pop. Hold on. I'll edit that out. Jesus Christ. Another good opportunity for him could be if the Yankees were up by like 10 runs for him to work things out,
He just needs reps at this point. Like he just needs to get in and get some reps. That's really what it is at this point. I'm not overly concerned about him. He's got tenure in the league. He's been one of the top relievers in the league now for almost a decade. I'm not overly worried about a pitcher like that. I'm not going to be until he gives me more reason for concern. I think we tend to forget as fans that we're still not even through the first month of the season. I mean, game wise, sure, but like calendar wise, we're still not through the first month of the season. So you got to let these things play out a little bit. No one would have ever guessed that last year Aaron Judge was going to finish with 58 homers and over 130 RBIs, especially at this time last year. So, right. and look what he finished with. So you gotta give it time to, it really is a marathon. It's not a sprint. They're not going to come out of the gate killing on all cylinders, just like in this game too. This is game 1 of a series. Now, do I expect them now to take the next 2 games and win 2 out of 3? Yeah, I do, because they're better than Baltimore. But at the same time, Stacey, you're going to lose games to teams. You're not going to go 13-0 versus your division. Right. It's not going to happen. So you got to let these things play out. You can't take, were they sluggish today? Absolutely. Or last night, were they sluggish? Absolutely. And did they not really get going till late in the game? Absolutely. But that's going to happen a lot of nights. As long as you take a series, that's what matters.
I'm trying to remember. There was a year when the Yankees went 0-12 against a team, and it was when they weren't that bad. I think it was Oakland who did that to them, because my brother pointed it out. It was like the early-ish 90s, so just before everything started building up for them. And I think it was like they lost like every game to that team. It is possible, but not in this age. Back then it was, because plus it was only the 2, because I think it was before the wild card came in. Yeah. So it was only the 2 divisions. There wasn't a central, there wasn't a wild card. There were fewer teams that you played against. And, so it was a little more possible back then, but, this day and age, no. I would like to say, you can thank me, Yankee fans, for talking about how disappointed I was in Volpe and Wells last week, because they've been doing nothing but hitting since last week. I mean, not constantly, but they have contributed in a few of these games in recent days.
It's picked up a lot. For the 2 of them. And I know that I'm far less concerned about Wells. I kind of figured Wells would pick it up at some point. His hitting was too good last year for that to continue. So him, I'm less concerned about. Volpe still could be streaky, but if he can use this to build on.
I think he just might be one of those players who's going to be really streaky.
But here's the thing, Stacey, if he's going to be one of those players, that's fine. There's room for guys like that on your roster. And especially with his fielding, it'll keep him in the lineup. Yeah. The problem is you have to learn how to, if your streaky is going to be as bad as Anthony Volpe's has been when he's not playing well, when he's down and not playing well, then your high, your positive needs to be Giancarlo Stanton's high. it needs to be that level of dominant when you're playing well. Anthony Volpe doesn't get to that level. So if Anthony Volpe is going to be as bad as he is when he's down, then I need him to hit 420 for 2 weeks
Right.
and be amazing. You know what I mean? Because that's the equivalent of what Stanton does. Stanton
Yeah.
has 2 weeks where he looks like he can't hit a baseball, but then he has 2 weeks where he hits 8 home runs, and you're like, this guy can't get out. You need, if you're going to be that level of streaky where the drasticness is so large, you need to give me great matched with bad. You can't give me mediocre to average matched with bad. That doesn't work for me. We
also need for him, if he's not going to hit, to at least get on base somehow by walking and then contributing in that way.
Like he's this, to me, it's the same thing as Jazz Chisholm, right? The batting average to me with players like that doesn't matter as much. It's the OBP that matters. If he gets on base at a frequent level, those guys can affect the game so much with their legs. You need that more than anything, honestly.
Yep, I agree. All right, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out the lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, there are 2 Yankees in the minors you should keep an eye on. We'll talk about what they've been doing next.
Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Well, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for longer. There's a variety of great flavors, including jalapeno lime, dill pickle, chili roasted, and smoky barbecue. And you can also get lightly salted or unsalted if your taste buds aren't quite ready for those bold flavors. Now, personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for the busy days. And whether I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, or I just need a quick protein boost, they are always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are also a classic favorite. Whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Guys, every Tuesday, you can catch the MLB Squad Show from Locked On. It's a show where hosts from around Locked On MLB discuss relevant weekly topics and give their Major League Baseball power rankings. You might even see a familiar face like me or Stacy there every once in a while. So find out what they're talking about and where the Yankees rank this week by watching it on YouTube or listen to it wherever you listen to all of your podcasts. So, Stacey, you did see that if you heard on the podcast, at least the last read on the MLB Squad Show, you should be out there listening. Me and Stacey will make appearances on it throughout the season. It is a big deal. It is Locked On's big new initiative, and there will be Yankee talk because the Yankees are one of the best teams in the American League, and they are extremely relevant. So, this is what you get when your team spends money. This is what you get when your team tries to be relevant, unlike the Baltimore Orioles. Moving on, the Yankees farm system. We missed Miners Monday yesterday because the doubleheader kind of distracted us from that between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. The doubleheader sweep, by the way, which I don't think we gave enough credit to how rare that is because it never happens ever. So props to the Yankees on that one.
Oh, wait, one quick thing.
Sure.
One of our insiders, Debbie, was wondering, she forgot that the 7-inning doubleheader went away.
That was a COVID thing.
She's like, when did that happen? But it lasted a little bit after COVID. Did you like the 7-inning doubleheaders? I did not.
It just, as stupid traditional old man as this sounds of me, I don't know how you're counting that game for the same value you're counting a regular game for. You can't play every game of the year in 9 innings and then play a doubleheader 7 and count the same way. It's just not. Plenty of teams win games past the 7th inning. So I did not like that.
I liked it just for the time wise because
sure,
but that was the only reason because it did feel weird to have certain things like there were 7-inning no hitters. Like it was
very strange. You're right though. Thanks for bringing that up. I almost forgot about it out of my head. It was that long ago.
We could thank Debbie because I wouldn't have been reminded of it. She reminded me. So thank
you, Debbie. Appreciate it. You and all of our insiders. That's what you get when you're an insider. You get your name on the show even when it's not Fan Mail Friday. So Stacey, 2 prospects that I really wanted to highlight that have had unbelievable years so far. One has been significantly more electric than the other. One that I know all of you really care about and want to hear an update on and really deserves an update. His name's Spencer Jones. Has started the year off with Somerset. There has been no indication as of yet if he'll be moving up to AAA at any point. He finished last year with Scranton, but he started the year with Somerset. He's played 21 games so far, Stacey. He's got 7 homers, 12 RBIs, 14 walks. Now, here's the negative. He's hitting 230. That's not great. But the on base is 360. And that's kind of like alluding to what we were talking about with Volpe and Chisholm. If Volpe gave me that, I'd be thrilled. Give me 230 with a 360 on base. I'll live with that absolutely every day. Right. Plus, Jones's OPS has been 901. That's a terrific OPS. So he's had a really good year and a really good start to the year. Here's my concern, Stacey. The problem last year with Spencer Jones was the strikeouts. He has had a major problem being able to hinder that, I guess, or remove that from his game, or just make it a lesser part.
I think they've always been a problem for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's continued. It's reared its ugly head. He's got 74 at bats so far in AA. He's got 31 strikeouts. So you're talking like close to 45% of his at bats have been strikeouts. Now he's hitting home runs and giving you power and walks when he's not striking out, but that's way too many strikeouts, not putting the ball in play. At this point right now with those numbers, do you think they let him ride the year out at AA, or are they going to move him to AAA at some point?
I think they might move him to AAA. I think if he's up to like 15 home runs, and they'll try to work with him on. Now, I do have a question, and I think it might be relevant. Mm-hmm. Are they using ABS?
That I don't know, actually. I don't think so, because I haven't heard anything about it in the lower levels. I know Independent League is definitely using it, like Long Island Ducks and stuff. I don't know if Major League Baseball, because I don't think that the MLBPA agreed to it yet.
Okay. Because, they were testing. That's how they were testing ABS before they did it in spring training. They were doing it in the minors, and I didn't hear if they were still doing it in the minors. The reason I ask is Jones is like Judge.
Yeah, great vision.
He's the same height. And I'm wondering if some of the strikeouts are coming because umps still don't know how to measure a tall guy's, like an extremely tall guy's, strike zone.
That's actually a really good point. Because I haven't considered that the strikeout zone is almost he's been taken advantage of by his height. Right. That happens a lot, especially to Judge.
Yeah, because remember the knock on Judge were all the strikeouts. And then once he got used to being in the majors, I mean, his strikeouts have gone down a lot. But when he first came up, his strikeouts were a lot, So
it looks like they are using ABS, but it is still only being used in a testing format. They're not for official. So it is being used in the game, and they can be using it, but it's not quoted as an official thing yet. So okay. they are using it in the games. Okay. Here's another thing that I wanted to bring up when you bring about size of players. And I think we've always talked about how Aaron Judge used to pitch in college and in high school, and his numbers were ridiculous, because could you imagine seeing imagine seeing a Randy Johnson in a bodybuilder's body? That's what you're seeing with Aaron Judge up there. You're also seeing that with Cam Schlittler. And what's funny, Stacey, is we talked about him briefly in spring training because he was having a great appearance in spring training and looked really good. And everyone was like, we'll see. No one really knows who this kid is yet. Let's slow it down a little bit with talking about how great he is. So let's look at what he's done so far, Stacey, because he's been just otherworldly how good he's been. And I told you how good Jones was. This is insane how good Schlittler's been. In 4 games, he's got 3 starts so far. He's appeared in 4 games. He's 2-1 with a 1.23 ERA, Stacey. He's got 24 strikeouts in 22 innings. He's only walked 5 guys. He's got a .82 whip and a 177 batting average against.
Wow.
We talked about how crazy it was with Judge being on the pitcher's mound and how these tall, intimidating guys, A, is at a different viewpoint for a batter, absolutely. But B, the power, the motion, the ball is coming from such a different angle. It's really hard for batters to pick this up. Stacey, I don't think anyone realizes this. The Yankees got him in 2022 in the 7th round. He's 24 years old now. He's 6'6", 225 pounds. He's a giant on the mound. Basically, what I read online, because I'm not going to act like I was watching Pac-10 baseball at any point. He drastically fell in the draft. Apparently, he had a really great freshman and sophomore year. His junior year, he slipped with numbers, and a lot of teams ran away from him. Yankees got him in the 7th round, which is considered great value. Apparently, he was a 2nd round talent and just plummeted in the draft because of a bad junior year. He worked on things in the offseason, apparently. He did hit the weight room. But Stacey, last year in Double-A, he had a 4.45 ERA. They brought him out to Triple-A for one game. He got shelled and was out before the 2nd inning. He gave up 4 earned runs. Since then, they started him in Double-A this year. I mean, 1.23 ERA, like I said, he's got above a 9 Ks per 9. This is just, he's been unbelievable. I do want to state this too, because I did read this on Baseball Prospectus earlier today, where they kind of like look at the prospects and say what they're going.
Prospectus.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I used to work there. That's how I know.
There you go. Appreciate it. So you know how good their work is over there. Well, his fastball last year has improved since, but last year it was topping out 93 to 95. He could get it to 98 if he really wanted to. That was last year, and they're saying he's improved on it since. The spin rate has gone up, which usually means velocity starts to go up once the weather gets a little nicer outside.
Right.
He's got a mid-80s slider and a low 80s curveball. Perfect combination.
You always like that differential. You always want someone throwing 98 and then also able to throw low 80s, because that just, the difference in those pitches. Yeah.
And coming from that angle, almost every curveball he throws is going to look like a 12-6 curveball, because he's coming from such a high angle and he's dropping it at your knees. He's going to be very hard to hit, especially too with his fastball. If he throws a ball down in the zone, it's going to look like a sinker to you, because he's coming from such a high angle. And if he throws it up in the zone, it's coming straight at you. 6'6", 225. Now, again, I doubt he makes a major league appearance this year, but he's going to get to AAA at some point, and it might be sooner rather than later, because his numbers have been ridiculous. He's improved drastically when it comes to all the rest of the prospects. And he killed it in spring training too. We talked about it a bunch in spring training, how good he was. This is one of those guys that they have really went into the lab with and worked at, and they are starting to develop him, and look out for him. This is a name you're going to start hearing about a lot going forward.
Yes. Cam Schlittler.
Yes. Emphasis on the pronunciation. Learn that.
Yes. There's 2 L's in that name. Schlittler.
There is.
Just to make sure. Okay. Good stuff. Coming up, previewing the remaining games against the Orioles next.
Now, guys, we get it. You may be bothering your entire family, right? Your girlfriend, your wife, everybody around might be aggravated, because when the NBA playoffs are on, you're dialed in, especially when my Knicks are on, right? And the NBA playoffs are here. You're at least going to have FanDuel with you the entire time. They're giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Now, I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy. Whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into the player props, from 3-pointers to steals and assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can still get involved in the action by combining live prop bets into a same-game parlay for your chance to win big. So don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. And not only do we cover your team every day, but now we're giving you instant episodes after every single game. You can check out the Locked On Yankees postcast hosted by Jay Berman right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. Get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast. So, Stacey, we head to game 2. Now, I did mention earlier on in the show, a little bit bigger expectations for the Yankees now in this series, right? You did drop game 1, sure, still take 2 out of 3. The Orioles are not playing well. They're not a good team this year. So, this is one of those spots. You've brought it up in the last couple episodes. This is what aces do. If you're Carlos Rodón here, go out there, shove, get your team back into the series.
I was looking at Baltimore's schedule because I wanted to see how they had done in the last couple of series. They lost 6 out of 7 heading into this series and were swept out of Detroit. Like, Detroit just
demolished
them. Like, one of the games was 7-0. They got nothing done in that game. Glaber had a pretty good series against them. He's doing well in Detroit. The Yankees need to win the next 2 games. There's no excuses for this. You need to win. Even with Carlos Carrasco going in game 3, you need to win both of these games. So you have Carlos Rodón, 3-3, got his ERA down to 3.50 after a couple of not so great starts, or a couple of starts where he was good for a time and then imploded. And now he's had about 3 starts that have been really solid. He's going up against Kyle Gibson, who's making his season debut. Gibson was 8-8 with a 4.24 ERA in 2024.
Yeah, I thought they were going to hit more last night than they actually wound up hitting, especially against the starter. But yeah, like you said, these are games. These are guys you have to hit.
Yeah.
Bad ERAs. Don't get deep into games. Run their pitch counts up. They don't win a lot of games. You have to hit these guys, and you have to, show the Baltimore Orioles who the best team in the division is. Go out there, hit. You could still easily take 2 out of 3 in this series, and like we said, this is what an ace pitcher does. You drop a game 1 that you should have won. He's supposed to go out there now and pitch really well and give you a chance to win. And the Yankees, fully should expect that out of this game. They're a better team than Baltimore. They score more than Baltimore. They have the pitching advantage in this game. They didn't kill their bullpen in game 1. You got to go out there and win this game.
Right. Like what Fried did in Tampa after that really bad blown lead. And then what Fried did after the bad blow up on Friday. Also, I mean, there was a day. There was
more like
rain.
What Fried's done all year.
Yeah, basically. Like be the stopper. This game was more annoying, right, than anything. It wasn't like a horrible, awful loss. It was just they were lethargic. Warren didn't really have anything. It was just one of those games. But we still need, and I mean collective, we need Rodón to just come in, shut it down, shove, and let the Yankees get on the winning side of things again.
In a sense, from the game last night, Will Warren almost set the tone for them in the wrong way, right? Where he came out and didn't pitch well and wasn't effective and kind of was lethargic in his own way. The team responded to that, and it wasn't the way that you wanted them to respond. But that's generally how things happen in baseball specifically. You follow the beat of your starting pitcher. You're, that classic, you hear it more in the postseason, but you're only as good as tomorrow's starting pitcher. And generally, that's what these teams do. I do love, on a side note here, I don't know if a lot of Yankee fans noticed, they did split Rodón and Fried in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like that. I think it's a good move. I think it's a solid move because they've been your 2 most effective pitchers and your 2 most consistent pitchers for the most part. Rodon's got the 2 iffy starts, but other than that, he's been more good than bad. They're your 2 most consistent pitchers. Splitting them in the rotation, I think, it's good and bad. It shows the Yankees have a lack of faith in their other starters, but it allows you to have hiccups like game 1 of the Orioles series, and it gives you your next day where your starter can pick you up. Right. So while splitting them is in part a good thing because it allows them to pick their team up more often than not, and you're not just getting 2 games of good pitching and then 3 games of bad. That is good. It does show me that they have a little bit of a lack of faith in their rotation. I'll tell you this. With the way Warren was, with the way Carrasco's been, minus his last start, they are dying to get Luis Gil back. They are hoping his throwing program goes really well because they need him back badly.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about this game, I was kind of hoping, and I think we brought up this game a couple of shows ago, I was kind of hoping that it would be like that game against the Cubs where they were down the entire game and then Brett Gardner hit that home run in the top of the 9th and basically woke them up. Because it felt like that kind of game because they had the doubleheader. They got into Baltimore later than they thought they were going to. Not that Baltimore's that far away from New York, but it's still.
But I think they usually train it down to Baltimore. So the trip does take longer than it should.
Right. So I was hoping. And then when the 8th inning happened, I was like, oh, okay, wait, maybe they're actually waking up. And then when you saw who was coming up in the 9th, you thought, okay, hey, this is their chance. And then 1, 2, 3 inning, nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. You gotta wake yourself up. It's game 2. And again, they're better than Baltimore. They're way better than Baltimore. These are the games you have to win.
Right now, they are better than Baltimore.
Which is a good point, too.
Baltimore can recover. They can recover from this. A lot of teams have bad first months. This season is so long that Baltimore can go on a streak for the next few months. No one's going to remember how April was.
That's a good point by you specifically, though. While yes, take advantage of Baltimore right now while they're playing bad because they might not be playing this bad when you see them again in August. Right. And then they're going to be a tougher opponent. So I agree. That's a really good point. Take advantage of them while you can right now.
Yep. Do it.
Damn it.
Listen to me. I've been right a few times in the past couple of weeks. Why don't the Yankees watch the show? If they watched the show, they would be doing better in some of these games. Thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. I really want to sing All Night Long by Lionel Richie when I do this, but I won't. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Just be thankful I didn't start singing there. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.